So today we will talk about the two-space high pincer and black. AI usually recommends black to play a knight's move. And here, I guess this is and then recommends the push and cut. And then here it's interesting because if you run Katago would recommend black to extend this way and fight like this. And if you run Leela Zero would recommend this block. But since from like AI tournaments, I believe Katago was stronger than Leela. So that's why nowadays I've been mostly using Katago for my analyses. And basically my AI lectures will be more focused on the analysis that I've learned from Katago instead. Okay. So just to let you know, the two AIs there are both, superhuman, but I think Katago is it's easier to understand because it does point estimate pretty well, and also it plays moves that are more like human beings, unlike Leela Zero. So I would prefer learning Go from Katago a lot more than from Leela. So today we will talk about how does black deal with this kind of fight. But before I go too deep into that, I will also talk about uh, some of the old obsolete josekis that human beings have come up with. So basically, before AI, human beings have always believed that this push and cut is bad for black because when we reach this windmill shape, um, uh, white has extra stone here, right? And humans have always thought that, oh, this stone is in a really good position for the fight. And therefore, if black just tries to play like this, um, so white is now alive and black is not alive. And if black has to live like this, then white will have a really nice attachment. And then as black lives, in the really small side on here, black actually, yeah, always a move to live. So if black lives like this, then white, has gained a pretty good influence, and the black's group outside is still not quite settled. So this is not a good result for black at all. So this is true. This is a very poor result for black. Um, and uh, and humans thought that, okay, if it's going to be so bad, then why not just avoid the fight? And here, instead of running the stone, I'm just going to play like a sabaki move just to manage these two stones. And white will extend, black extends, and white, captures this one stone, and black plays Hane. So this was the old joseki that humans came up with, and in this diagram, black's win rate is about 36%, which is pretty bad. It's like a 6% drop from its initial winning percentage. And as you can see, this this white stone is still useful in the future. White can still kind of play a Hane, and it's still a useful reduction stone. Whereas um, this black stone is completely dead. White has very firmly captured this. So yeah, white's stones are more efficient than black, basically. So this is like basically the first mistake that humans have made. That is poor judgment regarding this the position. That is, black is actually doing pretty badly here. Um, and the second thing that humans have mistaken was um, this move. So we know that white is alive, black is not alive, right? So black needs to run. Uh, and white plays the attachment. So the second mistake that humans have made is about this attachment, actually. Turns out black has a pretty powerful Tetsuji against this entire white wall, basically. That is, black can actually play this attachment when the ladder is good. So say, I mean, white only has two choices, right? It's either you block directly or you bend. There are no other moves that's worth considering. And let's look at this real quick. Say but white bends, then here black can simply just extend, and then this cut and that cut becomes miai for black. So this is white shape is basically crushed. So that was simple. And if white plays like this, then black has a really good sequence. Black first plays Hane, asking white if she really wants to separate black. If she does, then black now cuts. These two are cutting stones, so these are keystones. White needs to save it, but white doesn't have a good shape move. So white can only afford to play an empty triangle, and then black now captures. And if white still wants to completely kill black, then white needs to save this stone. And now black has a really, really good move where he can just play a net and completely enclose white. And it'll turn, and I just want to say that white cannot just tire his way out, because after this, then these stones are dead. Yeah, white cannot run out and kill the cutting stones. So the only thing that white can do right now is to kill this entire group. And white, turns out, has a really nice Tetsuji to kill this entire group. And it's this, this move filling up the diagonal spot. And by giving up 2 stones, and actually 3 stones, white can actually kill black. But then, yeah, basically it's 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, so black is dead. But then black gets this move in Sente, and black can even completely, with this attachment, black has completely, just to show you, yeah, white cannot escape anywhere. So basically white is completely sealed into a very tiny corner. So yeah, this is just to show you what would happen if white tries to capture black. Black can give up those stones and get a complete enclosure over white, and that would be a really good result for black. And if you're wondering, oh, if white does not connect here, if white just, captures a stone here, then black's stones here are still dead, right? Kinda, but not really, because there's still this ko that black can fight. And it turns out that white has too many aji on the outside. For example, this is a ko threat. And white actually doesn't have very good ko threats, maybe a peep here. But black has another ko threat. So yeah, basically it will result in this ko, but black has a lot of nice local ko threats. And yeah, white doesn't have good ko threats. So because of this attachment, white cannot really play this attachment right now. In fact, white needs to fix her shape first. Play this, threatening to capture these 2 stones. And if black responds, then she can go ahead and start the attachment, and it'll be really good for white. And obviously when white plays here, that gives black some breathing room to run out, and white can capture this. And this result is slightly better for white. But this is just to point out the mistakes that humans have made that's recorded in the old joseki dictionaries. Yeah, so the attachment is not going to work. White needs to make this exchange before she makes the attachment. And here, we also, I also want to point out that turns out this large knight's move is also a mistake by humans. So this large knight move, while it does save black, white eventually will get, after making an exchange, white eventually will get a really nice wall on the outside, right? So here, AI recommends a different way of saving this group. So whatever black plays, black has to play something to save this group. And large knight's move was probably the worst move. And AI actually recommends attaching like this. And then Hane, white double Hanes, black Ataris, and then Atari. And black just keep pushing this way. So black is now already alive. So what black has accomplished is Sente living here. And if you're wondering, oh, what is the value of living in Sente if you're giving so much thickness to white? Well, after black gets this Sente, then black can block here in Sente, and you can see that white's group is now not alive. So this block is really big because it's basically a Sente block. And now white's most efficient way to save this group is Hana here, basically threatening to reduce black's eye space. And now black comes back to defend its eye shape. White can probably get Sente here. And here, you'll realize that white owes a move here, right? Previously, if black plays a large knight's move, white's attachment would immediately close off the second line. But now, white owes a move here. On the other hand, black got a second line block, which means that black is in a really, really good position to develop the top side potential. So here, if white plays a slow move, say she bends on the second line to complete, this formation, then black can already start reducing white's potential and also developing the top side. And this is a better result for black. Yeah, so this explains why black can afford to live with these kind of like double digit Q exchange, making your opponent really thick. But if you can get Sente and take a really big move, it's totally worth it. So yeah, this is so much better than living here, allowing white to get a complete wall on the left side. Yeah. So let's say now white is considering a way to improve her position. So previously we talked about how black can play attachment and he will be able to live here in Sente and then take a Sente block here, which is really big. Let's say white wants to improve her position by taking this Sente block away from black, making this exchange, and now white lives, forcing black to live in Gote. Now black cannot play like this anymore. Like this is a really bad idea because here this block it's nothing, right? This is just like, yeah, it's like a Gote endgame move. Yeah, black cannot play like this. There's no, yeah, this is not nearly as valuable as the previous tiger's mouth block here that forces white to live. So basically, there's no reason for black to play like this to gain Sente anymore. On the other hand, so what black now needs to do, well, first of all, he should not consider this. We know that this is already bad after white makes a peep and then plays this attachment. This is going to be bad for black. So what black needs to do is to challenge white to a fight because black got an extra stone in the center. That's good for a fight, right? So black, it's recommended by AI or Katago that black plays a one space jump. And here, this is basically inviting white to block here and then immediately start a fight. So while black is not alive, white, these 3 stones are in immediate danger, right? So the moment when black extends, white is pretty much, it's pretty much dead. So white needs to run these 3 stones. And here, white does a great job peeping here, which basically threatens to capture these 2 cunning stones. But after making so many second line exchanges, these 2 cunning stones have become really light, not particularly valuable. And now, all of a sudden, the important battlefield has switched to these 2 stones. So here, black's most severe pincer is a 3rd line pincer against these 2 stones. And if you're wondering, oh, what about the semi-eye? What's going to happen if white plays Hane? Can white kill everything here? Well, it's important to know how to kill everything for black. So black just seals white, white connects, and here black don't play the tiger's mouth. If you do, you will die. You will die basically. So here, the key move to kill is this empty triangle, and when white extends, the key move to extend your liberties is this, and now we can just count liberties: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. White's dead. Okay. So this is how you kill white if white just immediately plays a Hane here. So here, white's only move to stand a chance to kill black's entire group is this empty triangle, which, as you can see, it increases white by two liberties. And black obviously would need to net white. And then now white comes back to play the Hane. White shorts liberty. And then here we talked about, this is the key move to extend liberties. And then here, when white connects, you can count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black is dead. All because of that empty triangle, white has successfully captured black. But this means that every single move here has become black sente, right? And not only that, this black group is also fighting a semi-eye against these three cunning stones, right? So black can even get this kind of one space jump, and white can't do much. White can't really attach here because the liberties on these stones are really short. White needs to be extremely careful. What white can do, however, white can start short liberties. Or I guess white can also start capturing. But then this means black sente got a really, really huge wall, and black can actually complete his formation here. So this is, yeah. While white has captured a lot of stones, black has gained almost complete control over the center. And don't forget that black, every single move on the outside here is a forcing move. So basically AI thinks that this is a better result for black.
Can I ask a quick question,
Oh
Jonathan?
yeah, go ahead, Brendan.
So 10 looks like gote, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That seems, I think I would struggle to make use of this in gote, I think. Just because the corner is big and white can sente reduce somehow.
Yeah, I'd say even the direction of reduction is kind of hard because black's wall is basically all over the place. So I'd say it's difficult for white to play because after black has a wall here, white really doesn't have any sort of potential. I mean, white can make small groups and small like local territory, but black really has control for the rest of, basically for a lot of most of the board, I'd say.
Okay. That makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why I invested this move, it's because if black can get this exchange, then black's wall is even thicker. Like it's yeah, there are no holes in it. Basically, everything is connected. Whereas if you don't invest in that move, I know it's gote. If you don't invest in that move, say I don't know, something like this, Yeah, there's always this kind of attachment aji after white has invested in a move there. So then this wall is not perfect, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess this is a slow, thick move, but I think it's a good enough investment in this case.
Cool. Thanks for
Um,
explaining.
yeah. Um, so yeah. So this, just to give you an idea of what would happen if a fight occurs, black will die and he will get a basically overwhelming influence on the outside. So if white knows that, white can avoid by just not blocking and start reducing black's influence. And here, after exchanging a few moves, I mean, this is still an even game. Winning rate for white is about like 50%, but that means that white has done something inferior, right? Because initially, white's win rate was supposed to be about 57, 56%. So, I mean, it's still playable, but it's not that great for white. If, you know, if white can't block and has to play like this just to reduce the influence, then yeah, this is not super great either. Um, Here, just briefly mention why extend and not wedge. It's because, first of all, there's an inside and outside exchange. If you're playing on the inside, your stone is really not useful. And afterwards, black can actually play an even better move. Previously, black was only able to play a one space jump. Black wouldn't be able to play a two space jump, or if he does, there's a ton of aji here. But because of this exchange, black can now afford to play this knight's move, and it kind of uh, basically threatens this cut even more. So when I say that's this cut, I meant talking about this cut. So it's even more threatening against these three stones. So that's why wedge is usually not super great, even though the two are similar. Okay, let's go back. Um, so we talked about how humans would think about this move, and black has a great way to live with attachment and living sente. And we also talked about how white improved by stealing black's tiger's mouth good shape and then try to force black to live, but that allowed black to start a fight with his one space jump. So basically, the results here are not, basically slightly not favorable for white, slightly not favorable. So what AI has recommended was this really, I think it's a truly incredible move. That is, AI recommends a diagonal move. So what does this mean? This means that, okay, I am going to let your corner group live, and not only I'm going to let you live like this, I'm going to die here, like completely. Just let these stones die. When black blocks, white is completely dead. So this is quite scary because think about it. If white connects here, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liberties. 6 liberty it's a lot of liberties. So the moment when black blocks, white would immediately play this diagonal move, and basically black cannot run out like this, right? Because if you do, say you keep running out, then white can just come back here and basically threaten a cut. Say black wedges, white cuts, black captures, and then these two stones are just really, really bad exchange for, yeah, it's good for nothing. Meaning that black cannot run out. Yeah, this diagonal move just is not good. It's bad exchange for black. If here, black has to capture, then white just seals black. And I know this is, once again, it's a gote move, right? It doesn't even short black's liberty. But let me show you something real quick. So white played a gote seal. Let's say black, plays a nice corner defense move. Here, white connects. White has 6 liberties. Black has 1, 2, 3. Yeah, black has also 6 liberties, which means that he can start capturing like this. You know, just start filling liberties, but white will get every single move out there as a sente, which is really annoying. So black has a slightly better move in attachment. So with this one space jump attachment, black has now 7 liberties. Now it's 7 versus 6. So black can now once again tanuki. Say you played here. Or if you want to be more defensive, okay, say you play here. And then white now can just start shorting liberties. And when you short liberties, always short from the outside and short in a way that basically would minimize your weaknesses and your co-threats. So we short liberty, short liberty, short liberty. For some reason, the AI likes to play this exchange, but anyway. Here, white gets a complete wall, and black has tanuki twice. So yeah, twice. But even so, Katako still prefers playing as white. Yeah, it's like 60 something percent for white. So it's basically saying even though black plays tanuki twice, the white's influence is still really good, really worth it. And even though the initial move, that knight's move steal seems kind of slow, the thickness that white got from sealing black is still, it makes it still playable. In fact, Katago prefers playing as white in this situation. So that this basically explains the original intent of this really seemingly slow diagonal move. I mean, it is really slow, but it's good enough to build a really thick wall and basically utilize the thickness to build the territory in the center. So that's white's plan when she plays the diagonal move. And Katago's best response against this move was really, I think it was really shocking. It was this attachment. So this attachment, I'd say it basically is a declaration of your commitment to run out to the center. Because now if you play this attachment, say the same thing happens again, black is still really stubborn. Now you can immediately see that, we know that white is going to get a perfect wall on the outside. Then you can immediately see that this attachment costs black 3 points for no reason, right? Black basically lost three points in Sente, meaning that the moment black plays this attachment, black absolutely has to run out his group just so that this stone does not die for, does not cost him a Sente 3 point loss for no reason. So that's how we can think of Katako's mind. This is saying that black is committed to running out. So let's look at this. If black is committed to running out, he cannot block you anymore, okay? But just because you cannot block you anymore doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to make life difficult for white, okay? You should allow white to connect, but in a more, I'd say, miserable way. So here, black's best play is obviously to run out, and it turns out this attachment is the recommended play. And here, let's look at what black should play if white plays the Hane. So here, as I said before, black should really try to make white miserable. So if you just extend here and allow white to just connect like this, then black's shape is really bad, and white is already in a pretty good, white is pretty much alive, especially since her descent here is considered a sente. So black here, turns out his strongest move is this bump. So this bump is saying, okay, I'm going to make it really hard for you to connect. So if white descends, basically saying that I really want to connect, then black should extend and allow white to connect through the first and second line, right? So this kind of connection, it's really not that impressive. And then here, black has a little shape defect right here. If black doesn't play white, white can take the spot and sente poke out this eye. So black fixes his shape defect. White plays an extension, obviously, because his group was not alive. And then this is an even position for both sides. And yeah, this is the win rate for white is actually like 57%. It's, yeah, I guess the most balanced way for both sides to play. And let's look at a few variations, especially when black plays this attachment. So here, if white wants to improve her connection, white can consider maybe a move like this, but then black would get sente atari, and black would play a tiger's mouth. And then here, white might want to, or white should probably play this shape move to basically aim at this defect. But now black, because white made so many second line exchanges, and basically white's group here is going to live, because this move is sente, right? To threaten to save this stone. Then basically the matter of capturing these 4 stones has become very trivial and end game like, because white is going to live anyway, which means that the moment when white jumps, black can already start approaching tenuking elsewhere. And if white cuts, black gets 2 free ataris on the outside and still has sente. So yeah, and now you can see this move is actually, you know, kind of like a nice reduction stone on the outside. Yeah, it's like an inside and outside exchange for black. So this is one possibility that white can play, but it's not very great. And here, if white wants to change with a different way of connecting, white can play like this, but here black can just simply extend, forcing white to live here, and play a knight's move, basically threatening a pincer, and then black can come back and block. And here, black's win rate is about 50%, so this is still slightly better for black, even though white gets like a nicer connection with this third line bump. Sorry. So here, when white plays Hane, black bumps. White can consider Atari, but it's also not that great if black responds properly. So here, after Atari, white is kind of happy that squeeze black in the empty triangle shape, but white has also a lot of defects. If white connects, then it's very, very imperative that black disconnect these two. You can't just run out and allow your opponent connect underneath like this. Yeah, the cut doesn't even work. So here, black wants to disconnect ideally in sente. So ideally, in the perfect world, black would want to make this exchange and then jump out. And then here, white is just dead, right? So this is what black should play to kind of aim at sente disconnecting white. And here white acknowledges that, okay, I'm disconnected, then fine, I'll just take the outside. And here black extends a few times and then can defend the corner. And here, yeah, the win rate for white is about like 54%. It's a slight drop because this white group is it's completely captured. There's not much aji at all. First of all, black has a ton of liberty. Second of all, after black extend 4 times here, black has secured 1 eye. And actually black has a potential to make a second eye though at right here. So meaning that black doesn't even need to worry about like shorting the liberties of this group. White is just unconditionally dead here. So yeah, black took a big corner and white still has some defects on the outside. So this is yeah, this is slightly better for black. So here, I do want to point out that here, black absolutely has to extend, because when black blocks, white's not gonna tally here. White would tally this way. And the moment when black extends, you can immediately tell that, yeah, white can just extend. You can tell that black these stones, actually it has only 2 external liberties. Everything else, it's mutual liberty between this white group and this black group. So meaning that black is really short on liberties. And if black is trying to kill these 2 stones, he can't, because white can just jump out. And even if black plays the strongest move, white can just short liberties, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, and black is just dead. So this is just to give you an idea of how imperative it is that black extends this way, allowing white to connect through the second and first line. Yeah, the moment black plays this attachment and bumps and white extends, there's already no way to back out from this variation. Black has to extend, allowing white to connect. And yeah, this is I'd say the katakos, the AI joseki for this pattern. If there are no other questions, then that's all I have for today. Yeah, I hope you guys find this useful, and if you ever run into this situation, you will know how to deal with it, and also know how not to deal with it, like playing this old joseki way. Yeah, thanks for attending the lecture.